You keep praying for clarity, but God keeps closing that door, and deep down, you already know why. That relationship you keep trying to revive, the one you secretly can't stop thinking about, the one that feels like your soul is tethered to, it's not being blocked by coincidence, it's being blocked by divine protection. You think it's rejection, but it's redirection. God isn't being cruel, He's being clear. He's seen the conversations behind your back, the spiritual warfare you can't discern, the future heartbreak that would leave you shattered, not sanctified. Every time you get close, something falls apart, and it's not random. It's a warning. You ask why they ghosted you, why the communication suddenly died, why peace evaporated when they entered your life, but what you don't see is that God is filtering your environment because your assignment is too great to be distracted by counterfeit connections. Romans 8 verse 28 says all things work together for good, but sometimes that good is disguised as disappointment. You weren't denied, you were delivered. The person you're crying over might look like a blessing, but they were secretly bleeding your identity, watering down your purpose, and seducing your standards. God will never give you something that competes with Him. And if a relationship makes you compromise your convictions, ignore red flags, or chase validation instead of His voice, then it's not sent, it's allowed. There's a difference. Sometimes God allows a person to enter your life not to stay, but to expose the parts of your heart that are still healing. Psalm 37 verse 4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." But first, He has to transform those desires. That's why He's blocking what you're still begging for, because He knows that if you got it now, it would derail your destiny. And deep inside, you felt it, an unease, a restlessness, a spiritual tension every time you're with Him. That's not anxiety, that's the Holy Spirit whispering, "This is not it." But because your heart is louder than your discernment, you try to force it. You interpret silence as abandonment, but sometimes silence is the answer. God's no is not a punishment, it's a preparation. You say you want a God-ordained marriage, but you're still entertaining people who don't even pray. You want kingdom love, but you're sowing time into confusion. That's why God is shutting it down. He knows what you don't know, that emotional soul ties can destroy spiritual assignments. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33 says bad company corrupts good character, and the enemy isn't always a devil with a pitchfork. Sometimes it's a smile, a flirt, a casual text that slowly drains your spiritual fire. You keep wondering why you're struggling to hear God, why your dreams feel delayed, why your peace is leaking, and it's because you're yoked to someone who was never meant to carry your calling. God is jealous for your focus. Exodus 34 verse 14 calls Him a jealous God, not out of insecurity, but out of divine authority. He knows that the wrong relationship will cost you time, identity, and intimacy with Him. And here's the truth no one tells you. Sometimes, the devil sends people too, wrapped in attraction, masked as potential, but built to distract. That's why the shutdown hurts. It's spiritual surgery. He's cutting off what you thought you needed to heal what He knows has been infected. You're not cursed, you're being covered. So stop reopening doors God locked. Stop praying for resurrections of what He already buried. Stop asking God to bless what He's trying to break. The relationship didn't work because it wasn't meant to work, it was meant to wake you up. Now the only question is, will you keep chasing what God has clearly blocked, or will you finally let go long enough for Him to give you something holy? If this message stirred something in your spirit, comment below what God is revealing to you, leave a like if your heart agrees, subscribe for more truth-led clarity, and turn on notifications so you never miss a word He might use to reach you next.